What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This here is Legitical Response. And folks, look, this has been one of the wildest presidential seasons I think I've ever come across. The political landscape, everything that's setting up, we've had unprecedented historical moment after unprecedented historical moment, one back to back to back to back to back. It's been just outright insane. And looking at how Kamala Harris came to be, right? How she came to be the presidential nominee. We're going to get into that a little bit later, but that was also very unprecedented and crazy. And now I've got this article and I'm like confused, right? I am just outright confused. Check this out, y'all. Harris pulls ahead of Trump in latest New York Times poll as more voters see her as the candidate of change. Now, what? Okay, so maybe they're trying to differentiate Kamala Harris from Joe Biden. And hey, look, I get that. But you know, when you have Karine Jean-Pierre saying things like this.
Do you know this is the Biden-Harris administration? Are you aware that this is the Biden-Harris administration? And she is indeed the vice president.
That says a lot right there. It's been the Biden-Harris administration this entire time. And you might be thinking, well, look, you're like a Trump guy, aren't you? I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of behind Trump because I'm not behind any of these other losers. That's for damn sure, right? But, okay, so you might think I'm biased, and I just don't like Kamala Harris, right? Saying that Kamala Harris is the candidate for change is crazy, right? Don't take my word for it. Take her word for it.
Well, if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Nothing that comes to mind. How about just about every freaking thing? There's been tons of stuff I rail against about the Biden administration and everything they're doing. We're not going to get into that here because that's an exhaustive list and that would take me freaking forever. Now, we know that, yeah, she just done a 60 Minutes interview and it was absolutely brutal, right? Hats off to CBS for actually going in, actually asking tough questions, and it shows where Kamala Harris is, right? If you're still thinking she's the candidate for change, I'm sorry, right? Like, if she gets elected as president, you're going to get another 4 years of the last 4 years, and the last 4 years haven't been very good economically, as far as our sovereignty, right? Like, these people are constantly talking about our, Ukraine's territorial integrity. Well, how about our own territorial integrity, right? Like, we've got a completely porous southern border. It's just wide freaking open. I don't know the exact numbers on gotaways because you can't have exact numbers on gotaways. That's why they're gotaways. But it's in the millions. The estimates are in the millions. And that they allow all these people to come across the southern border. And it has damaged this country greatly. It outright has. There is no disputing that. But to say Kamala Harris is the candidate for change is just nuts, right? She says she wouldn't have done anything different. So how the hell can she be the candidate for change? You want change, you go with Donald Trump. Why do I say that? You might think, well, he's just going to do the same thing he did when he was in office. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying, right? We had the best economy ever under Donald Trump. People were making money hand over fist. The economy was booming. Everything was going swimmingly until the pandemic hit, right? And the pandemic came in and screwed everything up. And these people, they try to lie to you constantly. It's just constant on a daily basis, trying to say, oh, the economy is great. Look at the stock market. Well, hang on. Them telling you that, hey, look at the stock market is doing good and unemployment is low. That just tells you two things, right? First thing, the stock market. That means people that are invested into the stock market, millionaires and rich, venture capitalists and all these people, yeah, they're making a lot of money. They got a lot of money tied up into the stock market and they're doing just fine. Unemployment. Yeah, that doesn't speak the bigger picture on that, right? Like, that just means that, yeah, everybody needs a job. That's what that means. They love using unemployment as a metric for a good economy. You might say, well, if you got a bad economy, people aren't giving out jobs. Sure, you say that. The economy is moving along, but it's not doing well. People are suffering badly because wages haven't come up. This is why people still have jobs, folks. This is why unemployment is so low, because inflation boomed, it exploded, just came right on up, and wages haven't come up to meet that. So employers are making a little bit more money. They have to, because things cost more. It's getting outright crazy. All the videos I'm constantly seeing online, people yelling and screaming they can't afford groceries, they can't afford their bills, they can't afford this, they can't afford that. And what does your vice president have to say about that?
A quarter of registered voters still say they don't know you. They don't know what makes you tick. And why do you think that is? What's the disconnect?
It's an election, Bill. And I take it seriously that I have to earn everyone's vote. This is an election for President of the United States. No one should be able to take for granted that they can just declare themselves a candidate and automatically receive support. You have to earn it. And that's what I intend to do.
Let me tell you what your critics and the columnists say.
Okay.
They say that the reason so many voters don't know you is that you have changed your position on so many things. You were against fracking, now you're for it. You supported looser immigration policies, now you're tightening them up. You were for Medicare for all, now you're not. So many that people don't truly know what you believe or what you stand for. And I know you've heard that.
In the last 4 years, I have been Vice President of the United States. And I have been traveling our country. And I have been listening to folks and seeking what is possible in terms of common ground. I believe in building consensus. We are a diverse people, geographically, regionally, in terms of where we are in our backgrounds. And what the American people do want is that we have leaders who can build consensus, where we can figure out compromise and understand it's not a bad thing, as long as you don't compromise your values, to find common sense solutions. And that has been my approach.
Yes, I know that had absolutely nothing to do with the economy, but that was on purpose, folks. That's what you get with Kamala Harris. You get word salad nonsense garbage, just garbled crap coming out of her mouth. And look, what she just said right there, we're going to go in on this, because what she just said, she said the quiet part out loud through a freaking microphone to millions of Americans, right? Because I'm sure lots of people are going to see these clips. She just told everybody that she needs to earn their vote. You can't just be placed upon a pedestal and be the president. Hang on. How the hell did you get nominated, Kamala Harris? There was no primary, by the way. You were just installed as the candidate. This is some of the most divisive language I think I've ever heard a presidential candidate say. The left is going to soak it right up. These people aren't going to pay attention to what she just said right there. This is poking everybody on the right, everybody that pays attention to politics. It's poking them with a freaking stick, like saying, do something, do something, do something. Like, seriously, that really ticked me off when I heard that. I couldn't believe she actually said that. It's just mind-blowing. Like, she just gets installed, and then she's outright telling you she needs to earn your vote. I'm sorry, but that's not how you do it. There was no primary process. Biden just decides to drop out, and then she's placed in as the candidate. Screw the voters, screw any sort of democratic process that we may have, right? Screw the Constitution, screw all of that. Of course, we know these people don't care, but I'm trying to prove a point here. These people are telling you, she knows that she was just installed. And she's telling you outright, do something about it. Well, by God, come November, I sure hope Americans wake up and see this garbage isn't going to work, right? This is spitting in every single American's face. But once again, like I said, the left, they're going to soak this crap right up. And it's aggravating as hell. And as far as the last part of that clip we just saw, talking about the voters don't know who she is and why she has changed her position so much, instead of all that word salad nonsense, like I had to listen to it a few times, like she could have easily said, look, after talking to the American people on the ground, I realized that I'm way too progressive for the country, that the consensus on the ground is something totally different. And if I want to be the president of the United States, I need to represent the people and what they feel, what they want, what the people on the ground need. Instead of this word salad nonsense garbage. Like, really, you're just making it even worse, Kamala Harris. Seriously, like, this just goes well beyond stupidity, if you ask me. Like, this is just ridiculous. But I got another clip, folks. And the border. Oh, she gets pressed hard on the border. Check this out.
You recently visited the southern border and embraced President Biden's recent crackdown on asylum seekers. And that crackdown produced an almost immediate and dramatic decrease in the number of border crossings. If that's the right answer now, why didn't your administration take those steps in 2021?
The first bill we proposed to Congress was to fix our broken immigration system, knowing that if you want to actually fix it, we need Congress to act. It was not taken up. Fast forward to a moment when a bipartisan group of members of the United States Senate, including one of the most conservative members of the United States Senate, got together, came up with a border security bill. Well, guess what happened? Donald Trump got word that this bill was afoot and could be passed, and he wants to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. So he told his buddies in Congress, kill the bill, don't let it move forward.
But I've been covering the border for years. And so I know this is not a problem that started with your administration.
Correct.
But there was an historic flood of undocumented immigrants coming across the border the first 3 years of your administration. As a matter of fact, arrivals quadrupled from the last year of President Trump. Was it a mistake to loosen the immigration policies as much as you did?
It's a long-standing problem. And solutions are at hand. And from day one, literally, we have been offering solutions.
What I was asking was it a mistake to kind of allow that flood to happen in the first place?
I think the policies that we have been proposing are about fixing a problem, not promoting a problem. Okay?
But the numbers did quadruple.
And the numbers
under your
today,
watch.
because of what we have done, we have cut the flow of illegal immigration by half.
But should you
we
have done
cut
that?
the
Should you
flow
have
of
done that?
fentanyl by half, but we need Congress to be able to act to actually fix the problem.
You gotta love that the policies we put forward were about fixing a problem, not promoting a problem. Hank, what? Like, the numbers quadrupled. He even said it. He even goes in hard, right? Like, okay, simple math here. You got 1 times 4 is 4, right? And if you divide that by 2, that's 2. You've still got double the amount of criminal aliens coming across that border on a constant basis, right? This is not fixing a problem. This is creating a problem for Donald Trump to promote. That's what you're doing. Kamala Harris and the Biden administration has given a whole lot of subject matter for Trump to run on, for crying out loud. Like, the border is really bad. Like, it's a lot worse than a lot of people think. Like, these communities, look at Springfield. And I know you might be thinking, oh, well, Donald Trump lied about the cats and the dogs. No, well, there is evidence to show that those migrants are doing some stuff that they shouldn't be doing. There's 911 calls of people saying, hey, he beheaded a geese over here in a park. We got that one video of a Congolese migrant, possibly a cat on the grill, right? I've showed that video several times. I'm not going to run it right here. But these people are talking about we're fixing the problem. We're not promoting a problem. You're creating the problems. These people do not care about your sovereignty. They don't care about this country at all. She put that post up. I talked about this yesterday. They put up a post on X talking about they just sent $157 million to Lebanon. When you have people in this country, $44 million to the hurricane victims. They're willing to send, was that 3 times the amount to Lebanon versus to their own citizens, for crying out loud. This makes absolutely no sense. And all of this blaming Donald Trump garbage, like, I'm sick and tired of hearing these people talk about this. Donald Trump is just a regular old citizen. He has no control over Congress. Sure, he can call up Congress and say, hey, I don't like this, blah, 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 blah. He can say whatever he wants, but if the bill was a good bill, they're going to pass that bill. I'm sorry. But what they're not telling you, that bill was absolute garbage. What it did is it allowed 4,999 criminal aliens to come across the border a day. And if it gets over that point, the President of the United States has the option to declare an emergency and shut the border down. What does that mean? That's hamstringing Donald Trump if he gets elected. That's what that would be doing, right? It would be codifying illegal immigration. This is not how you fix problems, right? What solution, like, seriously, what kind of solution is that? That's like saying, oh, we've got an epidemic of murders going on, so what are we going to do? Oh, well, let's just say all gun crime is now legal. Up to 4,999 murders per day. That's what they're doing. Sure, the numbers are going to go way down, right? Because up to 4,999 per day, they're not going to count that as a murder anymore. That's what they're trying to do with that bill, or that's what they were trying to do with that bill. And if this is the solutions that they're trying to bring to the American people, just imagine what the next 4 years is going to be like, folks. This is pure insanity. She just nuked her own campaign with that 60-minute interview she did. That was terrible. Like, there's nobody that thinks this went good for her. Even left-wing sources. I was scrolling through the news. Even left-wing sources were like, oh, Kamala Harris was cornered in this 60-minute interview. It was just nuts when I was going over all the articles and looking at this, trying to find my news articles for the day. Just mind-blowing. Just outright mind-blowing. It makes no sense what these people are trying to do, right? And I saw another headline. It's not a story I covered, but the budget has been revised, folks. You know how I've been saying $1.7 trillion deficit spending? Yeah, that's now been revised, and it's not down. It's up. $1.8 billion deficit spending. That is outright insane. And now that this hurricane has come through, and we've got another one about to slam into Florida, for crying out loud, right into Tampa. Just a major metropolitan city. It's going to devastate Tampa, right? Like, I know what a Category 4 hurricane can do. I survived Laura. Laura in 2020 hit here. Boom. It wrecked shop on this area. Like, many houses were totally destroyed. Many houses. I was lucky. I was very lucky. The only thing that got destroyed on my house was the awning on my back porch got ripped off by a little, I guess, miniature tornado, because that's all it did. It just came through and ripped it. But the amazing thing was, like, I'm like, okay, so where's my awning? After the storm passed and all this, trying to do cleanup and all this garbage, I ended up finding it, and I checked this on Google Earth, on Google Maps, how far away it was, right? It was, I want to say it was 754 feet. 754 or 764. I don't remember exactly now, but it was somewhere around in there, 750, we'll call it 760 feet away from my house, in the top of an oak tree. It lifted it, tore it off of my house, carried it 700 feet, like 10 houses away, like down the street and down a side street. and it landed in a damn oak tree. I finally found it. Now, it took me for a while to find it because I wasn't looking up. When I was looking for this thing, I figured it would have landed somebody's front yard or on somebody's house, unfortunately, but it didn't. They ended up getting it down, but I didn't claim it at that point. But holy crap, folks, hurricanes can destroy things. And we covered the article the other day. Now they're trying to call Donald Trump a liar, by the way, for trying to say this. Donald Trump reads the news, and then he gets out there and speaks on this, and then, you got CNN, Jake Tapper coming in saying, no, fact check, not true. The government has tons of money. Yeah, but they're going to have to reallocate some of this money from other places. And it's like, what are you talking about, Jake Tapper? We covered the article the other day. Alejandro Mayorkas came out and said that they don't have enough funds to cover the remainder of the hurricane season. He said if there's another hurricane, they don't have enough funds to cover it. That was the news. We covered that story right here on this channel. And they're trying to call Donald Trump a liar for trying to say the same thing. Of course, they always do this. They do this with Trump because Trump doesn't say things the way he should. Right? Trump says stuff in the Trumpian way that he does, and the corporate press, the mainstream news, they can take it and twist it around, and they do. They most certainly do. But it's just crazy, folks. Kamala Harris has outright nuked her campaign, and that poll, I just don't understand how people can think she's the candidate for change. She can't even answer a question directly, for crying out loud. Like, we still have no policy positions as far as what her opportunity economy is. We have no idea what the policies are going to be that's going to make an opportunity economy happen. Nothing whatsoever. Nothing but crickets from these people, folks. And that's all we're getting, it seems like. Because I don't think they have anything, if you ask me. But I think I'm out on this one. I want y'all to do me a big, big favor. Look right below the video and smash that like button for me if you could. And if you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button for me. I sure would appreciate it. It would really, really help the channel out a lot. And I would be like really, really, really appreciative of that gesture if you could smash that like button. Share this video with anybody and everybody you can. It really, really helps y'all get the word out because we got to get the facts out there, y'all. We got to get the truth. We got to get the facts, and we've got to spread this around. And we've got to take our country back, y'all. That's just it. November has to be a Trump win. Landslide. Has to be. We cannot take another 4 years of this. We're going to be in a bad way. We're going to be in a real bad way if Kamala Harris gets elected come November, y'all. But, like I said, that's all I got for this one. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. If you're a Democrat, did I change your mind? I doubt it, but, let me know down in the comment section if I did. That's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching, and y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.